Hey guys, this is Sheng from Team Paradigm Star here, and I'm going to be showing off a deck profile of my Tachikaze Ancient Dragon deck. This deck's been featured in a few fights on the channel so far, well, a couple I think. One recently between me and Tamashi against his Dark Regulars, of course. So yeah, I figured I'd just do a nice little deck profile to show it off. So our starter, for starting off, is of course Ancient Dragon, Baby Rex. It is the only starter Ancient Dragons currently have. And I mean, that's not to say it's a bad thing, because it is a really good starter when you retire it. You can, or when it's retired by any effect. Counterblast 1, search your deck for an Ancient Dragon Tyranno Legend and call it. It's a great starter. It makes for really good early game and late game plays with all your different retiring effects. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's great to have. You can do a lot of plays with this, especially like really early game with Dino Crowd and stuff. You can bring out attackers and you can really, I mean, this starter can get stuff done. Baby Rex can really put in a lot of work in the deck, and I do enjoy having him quite a bit. So, moving on, starting off with the grade 3s, we play 4 Ancient Dragon Spawner Driver. He has the Break Ride, and honestly, he's the meat of this deck. He's the core of it. He's what really gets it done, because Spawner Driver is a phenomenal Break Ride. If you didn't know, his Break Ride skill is whenever another Tachikaze rides on top of him, you retire 2 rear guards, draw 2 cards, and your new Vanguard gets 10k and a crit. Which is really good, because usually your effects are just going to bring those rear guards right back, get you a nice little +2 cards in your hand, and all of a sudden your Vanguard's huge with a crit. It's a phenomenal break ride. It's one of the best break rides to break ride over itself, and it's a really great break ride. Spawner Driver is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite Tachikaze cards, aside from a couple others. But yeah, Spawner Driver is amazing. The only problem is the deck can sometimes rely on him a bit, but it's not that bad, because, you know, with Ford you'll usually get him in, and, you know, I mean, he'll usually get here, and when he gets here, he gets the job done. So, moving on, I play 3 Ancient Dragon Tyranno Legend. He's the other ace of the deck. He's not that bad. He's okay. His special Counterblast is Counterblast 2 Ancient Dragons to get 5k. He's got that generic skill, which again, it's not that bad. Late game, it can actually make some decent pushes and help him hit some more decent numbers. But his limit break is it's not terrible. It's just not that, you know, game changing. It's when he attacks, you can retire 3 Ancient Dragons to give him 10k and an extra crit, which is okay. I mean, the fact that you can break ride him over Spawner Driver and then use Spawner Driver skill to get the crits and all, and then next turn use his limit break to continuously do that, it's not too bad. The fact that you can practically keep up a continuous stream of extra crits and extra power can really put a damper on your opponent's hand eventually. And I mean, he's meant to be a nice little finisher after the turn you break ride him, after your opponent survived a few Spawner Drivers over Spawner Drivers, because that'll usually wear down their hand along with any Sentinels they have, and the Tyranno Legend can just kind of go in for the kill, if you will. So, he's okay. I mean, he's nice to have in here, and he is an Ancient Dragon, so, I mean, with the right plays, he can really be game-changing, but he's mostly just there to be another Ancient Dragon ace. I do actually plan on replacing him with Volcitops when Fighters Collection hits sometime around the holidays, but until then, him. So then lastly, for grade 3s, we have 2 Dark Rex. Destruction Dragon Dark Rex. Now, Dark Rex is a great card. Dark Rex is just phenomenal. If you didn't know what Dark Rex does, from the hand you can bind him, you place him in the bind zone, to give any unit 3,000 power on the field, or any Tachikaze 3,000 power on the field, which is already pretty good in itself. It's a nice little bonus to his limit break, but I mean, it is a nice little bonus, because you can either fix up some rows to hit cross rides, because sometimes you might not be doing that, or if you're not against a cross ride, it can be decent. It can be decently easy to make 18k rows, so you can mow him to 21 and just make a lot of things really scary. But then his limit break is what's really horrifying, because his limit break is that when your Vanguard's attack fails, you can retire 3 of your rear guards to ride him, spear ride him from the bind zone. Now, of course, if you haven't figured it out already, if you don't know already, that can allow you to superior break ride over Spawner Driver, retiring your whole field to get a restanding Vanguard with 20k and 2 crit and drawing 2 cards, which is actually pretty awesome. I mean, the main part of the fact is that the main benefit of him is that you can break ride over break ride and then bind this and break ride twice in a turn, and by the end of the turn, if your opponent's actually survived it, you're going to have a massive hand size. I mean, you have no field, but you're going to have a massive hand size, and usually the only thing to do from there is replace your field and go in for the kill. Dark Rex is a really great card. I only have him at 2 because I don't always want to use him, but if the situation presents itself, he is great to have, and I really like Dark Rex in this deck. He can really he really puts on some pressure and really gets it done if you really need something like that. So moving on to grade 2s, I play 4 Ancient Dragon B-Man Kilo, standard 12k attacker, gotta have it, hits all the right numbers, and it's just great. Great attacker, great card in general, 12k attackers. I mean, I feel like anything more that could be said about special attackers in a deck has already been said, so I'm just gonna let it be, really. Next I play 4 Ancient Dragon Creola Fall. I do play 4 instead of 4 of the next grade 2 because I like the solid, consistent 10k base Vanguard ride. It's great to counter rush decks and just rushing in general, and I like it. It's just it's very solid, and I like it. It makes me feel safe. And then lastly, to round out the grade 2s, I play 3 Ancient Dragon Dyna Crowd. The reason I don't play 4 Dyna Crowd and 3 Creola Fall is because, again, I like the consistency of riding Creola Fall and just having them in general, and I don't really like 4 Dyna Crowd just because his skill is not always the best thing. I'm one of those players, I don't seek to use it early game and do the crazy Baby X plays and all that junk. I mean, if the situation presents itself and it's a really good situation, I will do it and I will take advantage of that, but I usually do not seek to do that. So I don't need him early game, I really only need him for some more late game pushes and stuff like that. I mean, it's all personal preference whether you want to do 3 and 4 or 4 and 3. It's up to you. I just like 3 Dyna Crowd in the deck because I don't feel that, my playstyle really does not reflect having 4. So, moving on to grade 1s. Started off, we play 4 Ancient Dragon Power's Wall. He is our Sentinel, our Perfect Guard, our Nullify, our Perfect Shield, Perfect Defense, whatever you want to call it. There's 4 of them in here, and you've got to have 4 of them, because with everything running around today, just everything, like, I mean, Liberator Alfred, Break Rides in general, everything. You need 4 of these. It is what it is. 4 Perfect Guards is just so essential in any deck, except maybe Spike Brothers. But anything else, you need to run the 4 because it's just extremely beneficial to the deck. Besides, this is a draw-heavy deck. It draws a lot, especially if you start Spino Driver over Spino Driver. It gets pretty crazy with the hand size, so you can definitely afford 4 of these. They're very nice. Next, play 4 Ancient Dragon Triplasma. He's, again, special attacker, 10k attacker of the deck. I feel anything that's been said has already been said about these. They're great for early game rush if you like to play like that. They're great for late game if you can't find attackers. They're great for mid game. That's, I mean, where the most common handy for me is mid game. If I can't find attackers, they can just poke it the majority of rear guards and then move back and be solid boosters, or you can bait your opponent's attacking them, whatever you want to do. They're just, I mean, they're great. They are what they are. And then we play 4 Ancient Dragon Iguana Gorg. This is, I said Spawner Driver is the meat of the deck. This is really where it's at. I mean, this is what gets the deck going. Spawner Driver is the engine, this is the gas. Ancient Dragon Iguana Gorg is when he's retired, no, when he's sent to the drop zone from the rear guard circle in any way at all. So whether you retire him or your opponent retires him, anyway, if you got an Ancient Dragon Vanguard, you can counterblast one, bring him back to the field. And I mean, he's 7k base. He's so good. I mean, and you need to get him on the field early as possible so that you could set him up for your Spino Driver Break Rides, and then you just keep doing him over and over again from there. And he just creates so much advantage with Spino Driver, turning Spino Driver into just a pure +2 every turn instead of a break even. And I mean, he's just great. It's very self-explanatory. He is what he is. Then rounding out the grade 1s, I play 1 Gatling Arrow. Gatling Arrow is really not that great in this deck. Attacking for 12 to retire rear guard. I mean, or well, when he attacks, he retires rear guard. An Ancient Dragon rear guard to get 5,000 power, which is not that phenomenal considering you already have Triplasma. And a 12k attacking grade 1 is okay, but I mean, it's really not that necessary. He's only in here to round out the grade 1s to 13 because normally you'd play 14, but I took one out for an extra grade 3 because I play 9 with Dark Rex and all. So he's just there because he's there. I mean, he's Gatling Arrow. It is what it is. So that would be it for the grade 1s. Moving on to the grade 0s, I play 4 heal, Ancient Dragon, Ornitha Healer, self-explanatory. You know, you play heals because we like to heal. That's about all there is to it. Then we play 4 Dynadial and 2 Fire Terrets for 6 crit. Dynadial, of course, is the Ancient Dragon one who's got a move to soul and unflip damage skill, which is always handy. And then I play 4 Titanic Cargo and 2 Sledge Anklo for 6 crit and 6 draw. I personally like 6 crit and 6 draw because I don't feel you need as many crits, because even if you break rod while your opponent's only in 3 damage, your Vanguard gets a crit, and then all of a sudden it's pressuring them a bunch. You could make the argument that you need the crit if they try to no guard a if they try to no guard while your They're trying to no-guard your Vanguard while Dark Rex is in the Mind Zone so that you can't activate Dark Rex, but usually the way this deck is going to run, you would have broke Ridden and then down Dark Rex, so your Vanguard's probably got a crit already, so it doesn't even matter as much. I mean, I just don't feel a huge amount of crits are necessary in the deck. Plus, I like the draw triggers combined with the draw power, and it gives me a lot of hand. I enjoy it. And then, of course, Sledge Anklo is the promo that has the skill of move to soul to give 3,000. He's a Marco clone, which is always nice. I don't play 4 of him because Tyranno Legend does have that special kind of blast, and sometimes you do want that. And to go even further into the reason of why I don't play 4 is because sometimes you don't have the Iguana Gorgs, or you've already done your Baby Rex, and you really need to retire stuff, and draw triggers are the best fodder to throw down for that, or excess grade 3s if you've got a bunch, but normally I wouldn't recommend that because of how many times you want to break ride. So yeah, extra draw triggers are the best thing to throw down, and sometimes they will need Ancient Dragons. So yeah, that is my Tachikaze Ancient Dragon deck. I've been testing with this deck ever since Box 11 came out, and I really like it. I mean, it does great against a lot of things because it can counter a lot of different decks that are out there. It can counter Gauntlet Buster because of your various retire effect cards, but Spinal Driver just being one of the best break rides in the game, in my opinion, combined with a decently threatening and pressuring late game Vanguard with Tyranno Legend, and then Dark Rex can usually move in to finish the kill. That's generally how the process of this deck goes. Because, I mean, Spinal Driver builds up hand, Tyranno Legend can make some big pushes to fetch out perfect cards, and Dark Rex can just kind of finish it off. Or put your hand size in a state that that your opponent really cannot come back from. And yeah, that's why I mean, I've seen a lot of people not play Dark Rex, and I do understand that. It's a personal preference thing. I've been playing Dark Rex for a long time, and I really love the card, so I can never take it down. It's one of my favorite Tachikaze cards. It's probably my favorite Tachikaze card. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble on now, so yeah. Ancient Dragons are a very awesome, very effective deck. Tachikaze's first big archetype, and it's definitely a really good one. I'm looking forward to the extra support in the Fighters Collection with the Volcitops, and seeing what else the Bushiroad has for Tachikaze to bring to the table. Thanks for watching, and this is Sheng from Paradigm Star. Checking you later.